Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The Palestinian Health Ministry says at least 9 Palestinians have been killed in a major operation by Israeli forces in the north of the occupied West Bank. Bulldozers could be seen digging up streets in Tulkarm in the early hours. Army personnel could then be seen moving into positions as daybreak rose. Israeli security forces said they had begun a counter-terrorism operation in Jenin and Tulkarm overnight, and that they had so far killed 5 armed terrorists from the air and ground. It also said another 4 were killed in an airstrike during a simultaneous operation in Al-Farak refugee camp near Turbas. There has been a spike in violence in the West Bank since Hamas's deadly attack on Israel on the 7th of October and the ensuing war in Gaza. US prosecutors have issued revised charges against Donald Trump for the former president's alleged attempts to interfere in the 2020 election after losing the contest. The updated wording tries to navigate a Supreme Court ruling that presidents have broad immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts. The ruling had thrown this case into doubt. Mr. Trump denies accusations that he pressured officials to reverse the results, knowingly spread lies about election fraud, and sought to exploit a riot at the US Capitol. It appears unlikely the case will reach court before the next election on the 5th of November.
The president doesn't have some level of immunity in how he conducts his office. In the same way that judges have to have immunity, police officers have to have immunity, there has to be some recognition that people can't be sued for doing their job. I don't think that it changes anything legally. I think it's clearly an effort to try to do more election interference from Jack Smith. He should be ashamed of himself, and it's one of the reasons why we have to win, because he should not be anywhere near power.
Italian authorities are expanding their investigation into the deaths of 7 people on the yacht, the Basian, to include 2 crew members as well as the captain.
Vi comunico ufficialmente.
British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch and 6 others lost their lives when the 56-metre yacht, flying a British flag, sank off the coast of northern Sicily on the 19th of August. The investigation is now said to include ship engineer Tim Parker-Eaton and sailor Matthew Griffith. The boat went down within minutes during a pre-dawn storm, while the yacht was anchored off the northern coast of Sicily. Emergency responders have been scrambling to find out how many people remain missing after waters burst through a dam in eastern Sudan. It resulted in the worst in a series of floods that have devastated a country already torn by 500 days of war. The collapse of the Arbat Dam on Sunday killed 30 people and likely dozens more, in the latest in a series of inundations around the country as this year's rainy season hits heavier and in places earlier than in past years. South African billionaire Johan Rupert has overtaken Aliko Dangote as Africa's richest person. That's according to the latest data from the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Mr. Rupert controls Richemont, one of the world's largest luxury goods firms, which owns brands like Cartier and Montblanc. His net worth has surged to $1.9 billion to $14.3 billion, placing him in the 147th position globally. The Spanish festival known as La Tomatina, said to be the biggest food fight in the world, has taken place in Bunol. The festival started in 1945 after a fight broke out between 2 groups of teenage boys during a parade in the town. It's thought to bring around 20,000 people to the small town. Over 120,000 tons of tomatoes are purchased for the festival. And a rare sight for road users in South Dakota in the United States, an ostrich on the loose. Traffic came to a halt as pedestrians attempted to shepherd the flightless bird off the road so cars could get moving again. Local news reported that Sioux Falls Animal Control eventually captured the bird. A Sioux Falls Police Department spokesman claimed the ostrich escaped a trailer along with other birds, the owners of which had been travelling from out of state. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.